Hi, my name is Emily Kazarski, and this is my final project for NUTR651A Clinical Skills. Overview of my client. She's 35 years old, female, and Caucasian. Brief introduction about her. She's a doula with a hectic schedule. So she's a birth doula and a postpartum doula. She does about 4 to 5 births in a given month and has between 1 and 3 postpartum clients. She's exhausted and stressed out most of the time, and her unpredictable schedule causes her to consume fast food and processed food, and often skips meals, which results in GI distress, including bloating, constipation, and stomach cramps. I will mention that when she doesn't have a hectic schedule and she's home, she eats very nutritiously. She loves to cook, and she does a CSA farm share throughout the entire year, so she's always getting fresh organic produce. As far as family history goes, her father has type 2 diabetes and her maternal grandfather has dementia. Her desired outcomes are to learn how to eat more nutritiously during her hectic scheduled days. Her antecedents are stress management issues since youth. She's always had anxiety and stress. Triggers are her stressful job and familial responsibilities. She has 2 children. Mediators include caffeine, processed foods, fast foods, and skipping meals, as they all contribute to her symptoms. She's 5'4" and 120 pounds, which is the ideal body weight for her height, and her BMI is 20.6. Her estimated calorie needs are 1870, and this was calculated as her RMR was 1360, and she has a lightly active lifestyle, so multiply that by 1.375. Recommended daily protein is 54 grams, and she should be drinking 60 ounces of fluids. Her diet is drastically different on days when she's home and has a predictable schedule versus days when she's at a birth. So let's talk about her predictable schedule diet. This diet is high in diverse antioxidants and phytonutrient foods. So she eats a ton of fruits and vegetables, mostly organic. For breakfast, she eats oatmeal with berries, walnuts, and chia seeds. She has a very healthy lunch of dark leafy green salads, such as baby kale and baby spinach, cooked quinoa with avocado and feta cheese. For dinner, she sometimes eats fatty fish, such as salmon. That's one of her favorites. She loves to roast vegetables, her sweet potatoes, and her favorite greens include farro and brown rice. Sometimes she has grilled chicken with vegetables, and sometimes she just has vegetables and a sweet potato or a green for dinner, and no animal protein. Her snacks consist of fruits, nuts, crackers, full-fat yogurt with honey. She consumes roughly 90% of her daily protein recommendations, 92% of daily fat, and 133% of daily carbohydrates. And in total, she consumes 98% of her daily energy intake. On these days, her diet is high in fiber, roughly 36 grams, and rich in omega-3s and omega-6s. On her unpredictable scheduled diet, it's low in diverse antioxidant and phytonutrient foods, so low in fruits and vegetables. It's also low in protein and fiber, and high in processed sugars and refined grains. So her typical day consists of grab-and-go items, if she is able to eat at all. Oftentimes she just skips meals and snacks altogether. But when she does have time, she told me she goes to the cafeteria when she's at a hospital for a birth and grabs a sugary muffin or bagel, or she goes to the vending machine and grabs a power bar or some peanuts. She often consumes a lot of caffeine on these days to stay alert, so 24 plus ounces. If she does have time to eat dinner, she usually stops at McDonald's on the way home and has chicken nuggets or grilled chicken sandwich. On these days, she consumes 55% of her daily recommended protein, 73% of her daily recommended fat, 77% of her daily recommended carbohydrates, and in total 67% of her daily energy intake. What's really great about her is that she remembers to drink 60 to 80 ounces of purified water a day. She has a big reusable water bottle and she brings it with her wherever she goes, so I commended her for that because I think that's excellent. Her physical assessment and symptoms burden. So we did a nutritional assessment and I found that she had cracked corners on the sides of her mouth, which could indicate potential B vitamin deficiencies such as B2, B12, B6, and niacin, and or iron deficiencies. She also has dark circles under her eyes, which could be from allergies or just from being so tired. Her symptoms burden, so her symptoms indicate that there's some issues with the large intestine, so the symptoms include constipation and stomach cramps, and the small intestine is also affected because of abdominal bloating. She's currently taking 2,000 IUs of vitamin D daily, and her physical activity I categorize as lightly active. So she plays with her kids, she takes walks occasionally, and she does yoga maybe once a month. She said she really loves yoga, she just has been having some trouble fitting it into her schedule. So as I mentioned, she's a doula. That's her lifestyle. She is married with 2 girls, 4 and 2 years old. Her stress levels is very high because of her schedule and familial responsibilities. So, in addition to always being on call for her clients and having 2 young kids, her husband travels 3 out of 4 weeks of the month. So she recently had to hire a nanny to stay with her girls when she's called into a birth, which is very stressful for her. And she currently has no consistent stress management techniques. As far as behaviors goes, she's tried to be more organized in the past with preparing food ahead of time, but she's not had much luck. She said that when she thinks about this, she prepares snacks and meals for her kids, but doesn't really think about herself. What she would like to do is try to balance her macronutrient intake and add more fruits and vegetables to her diet during the hectic times by having things ready and handy to take with her, because she knows that eating better will make her feel better. Her beliefs, she actually has a fair amount of holistic knowledge due to her job. She's always taking trainings and learning about different integrative practices. She currently sees a chiropractor monthly because of some back tension that she experiences due to being on her feet during the labor and delivery and supporting the mother while giving birth. Readiness, so she rated her overall readiness as a 9 out of 10. She feels very ready to make a change. Her confidence she rated as a 7 out of 10 because she's just not sure how sustainable it'll be because of her busy schedule. And she rated her motivation as an 8 out of 10. While she feels highly motivated, she also said she's just simply exhausted. Core imbalances. So first is energy metabolism. So the quality of her macronutrients is poor because of fast food on hectic work days. And the macronutrient distribution that she has is much less than the daily recommended values. Next is cellular integrity imbalances, so low antioxidants and phytonutrients or fruits and vegetables on these hectic days. Digestion is next, so small intestine and large intestine are affected because of the bloating, abdominal cramping, and constipation that she's been experiencing. So I categorized her as at risk for nutritional status, and here's the diagnosis. So her first main nutritional problem is inadequate energy intake on her hectic work days, which is only 67%, and this is related to skipping meals, as evidenced by her 3-day food log, her exhaustion, and her stress levels. Her next main nutritional problem is inadequate fiber intake, which is just 35% of the recommended amount on her hectic days. This is related to consumption of processed food and fast food, minimal consumption of whole foods, and skipping meals. And this is as evidenced by her constipation and GI distress that she's been experiencing. Next main nutritional problem is inadequate micronutrient intake on hectic days. So she's currently only getting 61% of vitamin B1, 57% of B2, 26% of B5, 35% B6, 17% of B12, 25% of folate, 10% of vitamin A, 14% of vitamin C, 5% of vitamin D, not including her supplementation, 22% of calcium, 24% of iron, 13% of potassium, and 39% of magnesium. And this is related to minimal consumption of whole foods. And this is as evidenced by her physical assessment, which indicated the cracked corners on her mouth, her 3-day food log, exhaustion, anxiety, and stress levels. Intervention. So overall expected outcomes are to balance macronutrient breakdown, achieve optimal micronutrient levels, support gastric digestion, improve ability to prepare food, improve sleep hygiene, and regulate stress levels. Her short-term goals are to reduce processed food consumption, consume more fruits and vegetables on her hectic workdays, add stress management techniques into each week. So short-term interventions, she's going to cut up fresh fruits and vegetables to store in the refrigerator as a grab-and-go snack for her crazy days. She's going to schedule a yoga class for the week, and she's going to add 10 minutes of sleep to tonight. Dietary recommendations. I want her to incorporate more fiber into her hectic day schedules by focusing on more dark leafy greens and cruciferous vegetables and fiber-rich fruits such as apples and berries. I also want her to incorporate more protein into her hectic days by planning ahead. So packing nuts and seeds as snacks, and making some salads ahead of time with some good protein on top, such as grilled chicken, hard-boiled eggs, or salmon. I also want her to work on reducing processed food consumption and consumption of refined carbohydrates. Supplement recommendations. I'd like her to begin taking a B complex with breakfast. I'd like her to begin taking a probiotic to promote gut health, and I'd like her to take this with dinner. Begin taking natural calm powder to help with sleep and digestion. So this also contains magnesium, vitamin D, calcium, vitamin C, and potassium, and I want her to take this before bed because it will make her sleepy. But I think it'll really help with the constipation that she's experiencing as well. And I want her to continue to take the vitamin D supplement before bed. As far as integrative recommendations go, I'd like her to do yoga 1 to 2 times a week, or even more frequently if she can fit it into her schedule. I think this would really help with her stress level. I would also like her to start meditating and consider getting a meditation app, and even doing 5 to 10 minutes a day I think would greatly help her stress. Other recommendations, I'd like her to schedule a primary care appointment for blood work, including a CBC and a CMP. Based on these levels, we might want to consider supplementing iron, but I'd like her to talk to her primary care physician about this. And lastly, our follow-up. I'd like to see her every 2 weeks for the next 2 visits, and then monthly if improvements have been made. Thank you.